Okay, hello everyone. It's Lisa Turner here from Psychademy, and today's Facebook Live is all about step 5 of the 5 steps to awakening. So she finds her notes. There they are. So I'm just going to recap on the first 4. That's a motorbike, but going past. So we start with integrating the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, removing blocks within the unconscious mind, integrating the unconscious mind and the higher self, activating the spiritual energy circuits. And then now we're at number 5, which is all about creating change. So why is change important? Why does it even matter? Why would you even want to change? Well, here's the thing. Let's flip that, because if we think about it, why would you even want to be spiritual? Why would you want to spiritually awaken? Because most people who spiritually awaken, most people who I talk to, they want to spiritually awaken. They want to have better communication with their higher self, with their spirit guides. And it's because they want something to be different in their life. They want better health, better relationships, more money. They want their family to be happier. They want their loved ones to be happier. They want society to be better and work better and be more functional. They want climate change to be solved. They want to change something. So, and here's the thing, right? Here's the other thing. Let's think about this. So what a lot of people do is when they start to spiritually awaken and they look out at what's going on in the world, and you start to be more sensitive, more aware, you start to see what's kind of underneath the surface, you start to see through some of the illusion that's going on, and you start to become aware of what a lot of pain and unhappiness there. Not everyone has this, but some people do this, and it's not uncommon to suddenly be aware of all the pain and the unhappiness and the and the sadness that there is in the world. And you look out of the world and you go, oh my God, it's a horrible place. People are doing mean things to each other. There's wars, there's torture. How can this possibly be right? Therefore, there's something wrong with the physical world. I need to be more spiritual, and the only way I need to do that is to escape from the world. And so they start to think about quitting their job or leaving corporate, or they start to think about kind of living a simpler life. You've probably heard of this. And they start to kind of withdraw from the world. And this is how some of the phrases they use. They say things like, oh, it's a very toxic environment and I need to not be in that toxic environment. Now, here's the thing, right? So I'm going to ask this as a question. I realize I say, here's the thing a lot. There are a lot of things, right? So I'm going to ask this as a question. Do you think the world would be a better place if some of our leaders were more conscious? If our leaders were more awakened, more spiritual, working for the highest good? Because that's kind of my definition of spirituality. Somebody who's spiritually awakened understands that sometimes that there are things that need to be done, or things that they make decisions that are for the highest good of all, rather than our selfish, rather than making decisions that are good only for us, for an individual. Now, so if our leaders, if you look at like what's going on in the world, there's a lot of leaders that I think they're making decisions just on what will serve them and their mates. I think that's probably fair to say. Would you agree that's fair to say? If you think that's true, then pop a little yes or a thumbs up. I think yes. Dina says, hi. So if you think that there's a lot of the leadership that's out there, a lot of the leaders of the world are making decisions not for the highest good of all, and if you think the world would fundamentally be a better place if our leaders were making decisions that were for the highest good of all. And by leaders, I don't just mean politicians. I don't just mean, our spiritual leaders. I mean anyone who is in a position of authority and power. I don't, so some people, there's a lot of talk about, big pharma, they're out to make money and get you. Now, they might be the case, could be just a bit paranoia. But what if, rather than just attacking big pharma and saying big pharma is bad, what if like the people who are running big pharma were more spiritually awakened? Like, what if that happened? Yeah. So here's the thing. So when there's this suggestion that actually the world is going to be a better place if I leave it, because I'm spiritually awakened now and I need to be a more, if think, people actually, so what people often do is they say, now I'm spiritually awakened, I need to leave the world, I need to have a simpler life and not have as much money and not have as many things and, stay away from toxic environments and leave corporate, leave my job, not do stuff, run away and hide and meditate in a corner. The logical conclusion of that is that the people who are in power are by definition, let's think about this, not spiritual, not working for the highest good of all. Like that would make sense, right? If people, here's everyone, some people become spiritual and they become enlightened and then they go away. Then we've got everyone else who's not enlightened and somebody else becomes enlightened and they go spiritual and they go away. So what you're left with is all the unenlightened people. What would happen if all the spiritual people enlightened, right, awakened, making decisions for the highest good of all, and they said, you know what, this thing that we live in, this collective that we live in isn't working so well. Rather than running from it and going and being spiritual on a mountaintop where anyone can be spiritual, what if they say, I'm going to stay in this world and I'm going to start making the changes that I want to create a world that I want. I want to create the kind of world that I want my children to live in, for my friends, my loved ones to be part of. So I'm going to give you in a minute a prediction of what's going on in the world, because here's the thing, that step 5, if you believe the world will be a better place if the spiritually awakened ones didn't leave the world, if they stayed in the world, if they got financially abundant. Oh, angry faces. I don't know why you're angry at me. I hope you're not angry at me, but that's good. It's good that I'm provoking a response. If you like it, click the like button. If you love it, click the love button. If you think other people would benefit from this, click the sharey button, my darlings. That would be great. And if you're watching me on the YouTubey thing, because we sometimes post it there as well, hello, YouTubey people, and click the subscribe button. Oh, and there's a thingy you can do that you can click it. So if you're on Facebook, anytime I'm live in the future, you get a little notification. Woo, that'd be good. Right, back to the plan. So if you think the world would be a better place, if spiritual people, if our leaders were more awakened, if you want to make the kind of changes you want to make in your life, if you want your life to be better, if you want it to be better for everyone, then stay in the world and make the change. What was it? Who was it? Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Be that change. And I don't think that change is all the good people running away, leaving a pile of poo for everyone else, because what we'll end up with is kind of what we've got like kind of now. So I'm going to give you a little prediction. Now, this is one of my models for the evolution of the species, and I'm going to share with you why I think this is so important right now. I believe we're at a tipping point. We're at this bifurcation point, which is a thermodynamics term, don't worry about that. It's a tipping point where we either evolve to a higher level of order, or things maybe don't look so great. Things don't evolve so well. In fact, in terms of one of the laws of it's one of the it's kind of a thermodynamics principle, which is things either evolve to a higher level of order or the system collapses. Personally, I think that it might. So what we're in right now is what looks like chaos. It looks like a crisis, but it's actually a birth. If you think about birth is a pretty messy process. But through birth comes transformation, comes the new. And Earth is birthing something new. Humanity is birthing itself into its next level of awakening. And it does that through you as an individual saying, I want more in my life. I want a better life. I want a happier life. I want to be living my purpose. I want to know what my bloody purpose is. I want to know why it is I don't feel I can live my purpose, and start doing that. And if you've got any of these feelings going on, if you want a better world where people all make the decisions for the highest good, then I'm going to share with you a prediction. I'm going to share with you in a minute where you can join us on this amazing event that we're running, where you can start to learn more about that and actually start to release what stops you living your life's purpose, what stops you awakening, and what stops you making the changes that you want to make in your life and in the world. But I want to share this with you. This is one of my models. It's a model of spiritual awakening. And so this is really what's happening in the Western world. So I'm going to start this with an apology. it conforms and works mostly in what's going on in the West, what happened and in the developed world. So it's Europe, Britain is still part of Europe just for the moment, by the skin of our teeth, by our nails. So Britain and Europe and North America, but it's also happened in India, and it is happening in India, happening in China, happening in that continent as well, and also in South America. But the trajectory is just slightly different for that. Just the process, the pattern doesn't quite fit the time scale of this model. So this model works, and it works across the world. I'm going to describe it for the Western world. So at the beginning of last century, 1900s, the whole of the Western world, Europe and America, had been ravaged by two world wars and a massive depression. Food and housing and the very basics for survival were in really short supply. Society demanded change. They demanded security. They wanted housing. People didn't have enough food to eat. They were hungry. That's not something we know now, right? And society demanded that kind of support. And in UK particularly, we got the NHS, we got social security, we got council housing, and we also got across Europe and in America, we got mass produced food. People had somewhere to live, something to eat. This is the base chakra of society being activated. Security, structure, survival. Then people started to feel very restricted. There was a lot of survival, conformity thinking. You had to conform, you had to, obey the rules, you had to do what you were told. And people rejected that and rebelled against that, and they revolted against that. And there was the 60s sexual revolution, right? Free love, explosion of creativity. It's a time of great music, great art, great fashion. This is the sacral chakra. Sexuality, creativity, pleasure, flexibility. Then what happened was a bit of a group love stuff, and the group love possibly went a little bit far for some people, and the system became unbalanced. People no longer wanted to share, because it used to be, was that, you had to share everything out, and they didn't want to share for everything they'd worked for. They didn't want to wait. They wanted it now. So they said, I'm not going to wait. I want it now. I'm not going to wait till I retire. So this was in the 80s, there was this financial boom, huge explosion of entrepreneurship, and it's the I generation, the I want it now, and the focus. So the focus was on individual wealth and success, becoming everyone, like loads of people became their own boss. A lot of financial boom, and a lot of tradies became really, we had that whole loads of money character, Harry Enfield, the plasterer who made loads of money. We also had, that whole greed is good thing. And greed, nothing wrong with wanting stuff. So this is the solar plexus of society. It's about individuality, identity, will, control, individuality. Hi, Audrey, welcome. So that's the solar plexus of society being activated. By the way, if you've joined us partway through, you are so welcome, and you can watch it from the beginning to catch the first bit, which is really pretty cool, even if I say so myself. And if you have any questions, post them here, and if you're watching the replay, I'll still answer them. I will still answer them. So, and what happened is solar plexus activated, will, identity, personal, me, I, but people either got burnt or they got burnt out. So they either lost all their money in some kind of financial crash, or they just got burnt out. They started to question if logic was the only way. They got tired of the restriction on feeling emotions, and they said to themselves, there must be more to life than this. Started to be okay to feel emotions and express them. Group hugs, compassion became important. Can you see where I'm going with this? In the 90s, there was this explosion of alternative complementary therapy and healing. This is when Reiki became kind of a little bit more mainstream. People that actually knew what it meant. Energy healing. It became okay to have and express emotions. This is the heart chakra of society, at this level of society. Love, compassion, higher emotions. Then what happened is everyone can feel. And so now everyone wants to talk about how they're feeling, right? So in the noughties, we had the internet revolution, and this triggered, all the blogging, what I'm doing right now, Facebook Live, being on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Facebook people. Instagram, LinkedIn, smartphones, iPhones. I don't know what you're watching this on. You could be watching this on on your watch. Can you watch it on your watch? Yes, I don't know. But iPods, iPads, who has an iPod now, right? I still have one. I use it when I'm running. So suddenly everyone's talking, everyone's podcasting, videoing, everyone's listening, reading, watching, and communicating. This is the throat chakra of society. It's about communication, expression, information. So now where are we? Well, obviously the next chakra, those of you who know chakras. Oh, just hit my microphone. Next chakra is the third eye. Now, at the level of the third eye, this is about insight, vision, wisdom, and discernment. And then the next one, and my prediction is that as the third eye is opening, which is right now it's opening, we're going to start this. Then straight after that, the crown will open. My prediction is fairly quickly after that. And this is inspiration, connection to source, and unity is the crown. So third eye, what does this mean for you, for society, for the species, for us as humans? Well, so the third eye is all about wisdom, discernment. It's about the balance of logic and intuition. Because a lot of people think, oh, it's just, if you open your third eye, you could just be really intuitive and then you don't need to think anymore. I'll just trust the voices in my head. That's pretty close to, the voices told me to stay home and polish the guns. I said that to a boss once as a joke. Why weren't you in this morning? The voices told me to stay home and polish the guns. It didn't go down too well. He did get it was a joke. I was actually at the dentist or something. Right. So third eye, the veil of illusion is removed, and it's the balance of logic and intuition. There's a huge fascination in spirituality, and we are calling out for visionary leaders where we get discernment, where we see the world as it truly is, where we get real clarity of thought, because the third eye is all about brainy stuff. When you have your third eye, when it's activating, starts to become easier to make decisions. You can understand paradoxes. That's where things seem to be like one thing is true, but also another thing is true, but they're true in different contexts probably. And you're no longer a victim to circumstances. That's really clear. That's really important that you understand this. With the third eye open, you are no longer a victim. So notice those who are still doing the victim talk, because there's a lot of victim talk. Big Pharma are out to get us. That's why they're selling us drugs that cure things. Outrageous. And all medicine is bad and we should only just eat healthy food, or whatever the hell that is this week, because every week what's healthy is something different, right? So there's a lot of victim thinking. There's, the world is out to, the world is flat, and there's NASA's out to convince us it's round for whatever reason that no flat earther has ever explained to me. And ask a flat earther, how does Coriolis work? That's always I always ask. So how does Coriolis work if the earth is flat? Because the whole globe thing totally explains that. So they often just say it doesn't exist. Tell a pilot that. I'm married to a pilot, right? I'm married to a pilot / quantum physicist. So, so those who are still kind of acting in this victim space, Carmen loves this. You're going to love what I'm going to give you in a minute. Right. So those of you who are still in this victim space, they don't yet have their third eye open, because they're still in that victim thinking. Now, when you have it open, so when you have it open, you can make decisions easily. You can see the world as it truly is. You've got this balance of wisdom, logic, and intuition. Now, here's the thing, right? So if you notice with that model, just before each chakra opened, there was a drawback, right? So before the base opened, we had to have nothing, right? So that the change was demanded. This is what before the heart opened, the solar plexus almost became out of balance. Now, what's happened now is like all the BS that's out there, the silly theories out there, the nonsense, the unproven stuff, the conspiracy theories that are out there, that are, all that alternative facts or lies, as they're sometimes called, right? This is part of the drawback for the third eye. People are talking too much about nothing or nonsense. We're in this drawback, but actually the drawback is just coming to a close and the launch forward is just starting. So right now we're in this time for a level of higher personal responsibility. This is what the third eye of society is calling you as an individual to do, to be in this place of non-judgment, to be really adaptable to change, to be totally not in a victim space anymore. So here's what a victim would say: oh, I'd love to do that, but I can't because, my bank account won't let me, or my mum won't let me, or my dad won't let me. And by the way, they may not use those words, but they'll say something else, right? that is basically, it's an excuse that says they're still in that victim space. So this is where you take a high degree of personal responsibility and you actually start to step into spiritual leadership, where you become the leader of your life. Now, being a spiritual leader, it doesn't mean that you have to speak on the stage or be a politician or lead large groups. What it does mean is that you take that personal responsibility. It means that you are okay with money, that you lead your own life, right? Remember, not being a victim is part of it. So I've got loads of messages coming up. So I'll come back to you guys. I'll come back to you. So it means that you step into your power to create the change in your life that you want to make, whether that's the change for yourself, or because you're as an awakened person, you won't only want to just fix your life. You might start with yourself, but you know that part of fixing yourself is also not fixing yourself because you're not broken, right? But part of creating the life you want is also going to be creating the life that will serve all, is for the highest good of all, right? So now here's the good news, guys. Those of you who know me will know I'm wearing my little channeling crystals, right? We're being helped. We're being helped by some highly evolved beings that are communicating with us through various means. And they have lots and lots of messages that they want to share with us that will support us as a species and us as individuals to awaken, so that we can all work, so that you can make decisions that are for the highest good of all. Because here's the thing, if you've tried to make changes in your life and it hasn't quite worked, right? If you've tried to make changes in your life and it hasn't quite worked, one of the reasons that happens is often because that change you're trying to make, you're not looking at it from the context of the whole, for the highest good of all. So here's an example, right? A lot of spiritual people, they have this love-hate relationship with money, right? And I have done whole Facebook lives on this, right? So love-hate relationship with money. They both want abundance, and they'll say this, no, I don't want money, but I just want more abundance. Like, well, I don't know how you can have one without the other, because money buys you the ability to create those changes that you want. It does. It means you can eat the food that you like to eat. It means you can eat the food that's better for you. It means you can live where you choose. It means you have more influence, right? You have more influence, because let's face it, a lot of political systems, basically the person in power is the person who's paid the person in power has been paid almost to be there. Now, like it or not, and if you don't like it, then here's the thing to do. Rather than, you don't run away and hide and go and meditate on a mountaintop, because that doesn't change anything. Instead, step into the world, make the change in yourself, and make the change. Because being spiritual is not about running away. A lot of people will say things like, oh, we just need to escape from the drama of the 3D reality. I actually think that's a cop-out. That's this spiritual bypassing. It's like, I don't need to be involved in the world because I'm above all that. First of all, that's highly judgmental. Get down, get dirty, get in the world, so that you can make the changes in your life and with others. So Carmen says, this is what I've been doing over the last 2 years, maybe a little longer. This year it's starting to turn things, a lot of change and trusting my gut, some pain, but in a good way. And that is brilliant, Carmen. I love that. Now, what if you could go, because your gut, that is a great source of your intuition. Bring it also up right to your higher self. So if you want to be a part of this, if you want to make more, if you want to do more of this, I'm just going to find you a link. I'm going to find you the link, because I am so organized. I have got this ready for you. There we go. If you want to be a part of this and start to step into that spiritual leadership, there we go. There we are. I'm back. Why can I not write a comment? Why can I not write a comment? Oh, that's really weird. I have no idea why that's not working. Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. All right, oh no, here we are. There we go. I don't know. I think it was this little thing kept popping up where my comment box is. Right. So if you want to be that spiritual leader, if you want to activate all of your chakras so you can ride this wave to open your third eye, so you can get ahead of the curve. If you want to start making those changes in your life, join us on our Psychacademy 3-day event. Click on the link. Those of you who ask, how much is it? Where is it? At the time of recording, it's whatever price it is. And at the time of watching, it's whatever price it is. So I'm not going to tell you what the price is because it's going to go up in a few days at the time of recording. So here's what you're going to get on this conference. First of all, we're going to take you through all of those 5 steps to awakening, integrating the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, removing the blocks. We remove the blocks with our process, higher self therapy, which releases all of the anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt, and whatever limiting belief you may have chosen to install accidentally, like I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm a bad person, money is bad, or whatever. All right. So I don't deserve to be rich. We'll release all of that. So it's gone. Not just I feel a bit better. It's gone. So then we're also going to do the next step is integrate your higher self, so bringing your higher self into your physical body. So the way we do this is what we do is we're going to take you through what's essentially an activation. This person keeps phoning me, not talking to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring your higher self so it's above your head, and it's like an activation. It is an activation. So it's above your head, and then we're going to bring it into your body. This means you can communicate from your higher self anytime you want. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to get the opportunity to start learning how you can make those changes that you want to make. So you're going to start creating your world for your life and your world for the future for everyone, exactly how you want to make it. You're also going to get the opportunity I'm going to be channeling my guides, no one guide, so you can ask them any question you like. And here's what I can't guarantee I'll be able to answer everybody's question because of the time, but I can guarantee if you're not there, you won't get your question answered. So click on the link, go and find out more, go and join us at this on this 3 days. What you'll also do is I'm going to talk more about, those messages from those highly evolved beings like my spirit guides and beyond. You're going to learn more about what those messages are and specifically what the message might be for you to support you in your evolution right now. So whatever that is, that's where we're going to take that so that you can learn exactly the steps you need to take, the changes, and whatever it is you need to know so that you can be the person you need to be that spiritual leader, to be that highly evolved being. And, being a spiritual leader, this is for everyone. This is for everyone who wants to spiritually awaken, whether it's for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones. It's for everyone who wants to awaken. So, what else? We give you lunch. There's lunch. Who doesn't love lunch? I love lunch. I missed my lunch yesterday, and I did really miss it. And I was quite hungry at the end of the day, and I don't really know how that happened. So there'll be lunch and huge fun. Now, if you have any questions, let me know what your questions are about anything I've shared today or about the event. So go and click on the link, go and find out a little bit more about the event. As I say, the ticket price, most people say that it's so underpriced that we sell it so cheap compared to the value that we give. And going back to that money thing I talked about. So one of the things a lot of spiritual people say to me is, they say, I'd love to have more money, but I don't want to do any business stuff. And it's like, and they get like, they kind of think that the only way to make money is to either do something they hate or to sell themselves in some kind of, like they almost feel like they're prostituting themselves, or they have this experience of like, I'm just going to meditate and the money will just land in my bank account. Guess what? That doesn't work, guys. So if you want to increase the amount of money you have in your life to have more abundance, then join us at this event, because I'm going to take you through a process, the model for how everything is manifested in the world, the spiritual guide to riches. So this is how everything comes from an idea into something that physically exists. So as an example, Psychacademy, we've now been in existence for 15 years, and it started as a vision, as a really vague idea. And if you want to learn how to take your vague ideas and bring them into reality in a way that increases your abundance, then join me at this event. So I hope you liked that. Now is the time. Stuff is happening. The world is changing. You can either be part of the change or you can be part of the resistance to the change. Which are you? Are you part of the shift or are you resisting the shift? Which are you? So if you have any questions, let me know. If you're watching the replay, that is cool too. Oh, Karen's giving me lots of love. I love you too, Karen. I can't wait to see you next week. Can you believe it? A week. What is it? Today's, a week today at the time of recording. If you're watching it tomorrow, it's less than a week. If you're watching it in 2 weeks' time, click on the link anyway. We'll see what happens. Because there might be another one, but I'm not going to talk about that. Because the next one is the one, right? Now is the time, guys. Now is the time. Yes, Karen says, me too. Yeah, I can't wait to see you. Sparkly aura girl. And you'll know what that means. You'll know what that means. I will tell you what that means. All right, my darlings. So lots of love. Bye for now. I will talk to you soon. I will see you at the conference, at the event, or not. You're either part of the change or you're part of the resistance. Oh, did that sound edgy? I am edgy. Take what you want. Take what you want. Reject what doesn't work for you. Lots and lots of loves, my darlings. And I will see you soon. Bye.